Come on in, everyone. Come on in because we are here for the Ready to Love recap review of the interview that Little Black Book Kojo did with LARON. Y'all know Kojo got the best interviews running in town. And Lord, give us strength. Give us strength. I know this is Black History Month. But these folks ain't telling history right. Can anybody come on here and admit to anything they did wrong? It's Black History Month, y'all. We want everybody to atone for the things they did to us back in history. We want to uplift all the good things we did to help build up this country and all this other. It's Black History Month, so we got to do our part. We got to start admitting some shit that we do wrong. And let me tell you, LARON, we're going to have to start calling LARON. Remember last year on Make a Move, we was calling Lizelle. LARON, don't make us start calling you LARON, because LARON sat up here and blamed us all for saying he was a party boy. This man, he was the one who got on this television show and told us to our face that he parties and goes out Wednesday through Sunday drinking Hennessy and Coke, looking for some fried catfish and neck bones. Now, we know he can't find no fried neck bones, no neck bones and catfish, because he said he live in a white neighborhood paying $3,000 a month. So $3,000 a month don't come with no fried catfish and no neck bones. He said he don't get none. So he said, no, I don't get no catfish and neck bones, but I go out Wednesday through Sunday. Y'all, wait a minute. Then he said, well, I meant to say Tuesday through Sunday. He said, I meant to say I go out Tuesday through Sunday, not Wednesday through Sunday. But for y'all people to start calling me a party boy, what's wrong with you? He basically called us low level. He said we was low level to come to the conclusion that he was a party boy because he liked to go out every single night. And he told us that he was looking for a woman to give him a reason to stay out of the lounge 6 days a week. And he was mad at us for coming to the conclusion that he's a party boy. Took zero responsibility for it. He said, well, that's just a small part of me, like 10%. I'm multifaceted. Well, who leads with their 10%? Who the hell out here, when they're introducing themselves to somebody, leads with their 10%? And I know LARON is in the math and he's into, statistics. He said he's into robotics. But if you're going out 6 days a week, that ain't 10%, LARON. Ain't that something like a 60? He making my math get bad. Ain't that something like about 90%? So he sat over here and told us about 90% of his life. Something he does 90% of his life. And then he got mad at us for saying that he likes to go out and party and drink every single night. And then he got mad at us and said, that's only 10%. No, that ain't 10%. That's 90%. You need to go back and check your math. You know, I'm all for a man who knows a math. I'm all for anybody that knows math. Way up to all the people in the tech industries and the STEM majors. He ain't no STEM major. That may be where he went wrong. He was a business major. He was a business major that went into tech. Well, LARON, it ain't 10%. It's 60%. And you know what else I can tell is more part of his life? Because LARON's a little puffy. He's a little puffy. He's puffy from that alcohol. I don't know if he knows it or not. He's puffy from that alcohol because he's too young to be that puffy. You could tell LARON's just a little bit puffy, a little swollen, a little inflamed. That's what that's from. It's from drinking every single night. I'm going to tell you right now, LARON, drinking every single night is making you a little bit puffy, a little bit inflamed. You need to switch that around. Remember what I was talking about in my video about LARON's too young. He needs to be in the gym more often than going to the lounge and eating. Maybe he needs to go to a tapas bar. The portions are smaller. Go to a tapas bar, LARON. Don't go to no place where happy hour they give me. Go to a tapas bar where it's real small portions. You get, he talking about he get 3 tacos for $9 in Texas. That's good. Shoot, tacos out here are $4.50 in California. 3 tacos puts you back $50. You don't get no beans and rice with that. Just the tacos by themselves. But LARON, don't go where they give you the big old full size tacos. Go where they give you the little bitty street tacos, the little bitty ones, bite size. You almost put the whole thing in your mouth at once. Go there and then go on over to the gym, and you're gonna be just right, LARON. You're gonna be just right. But Lord have mercy, I was hoping that this interview we'd get somebody that come on here and admit some of the things they did wrong. You know, it's I don't know, it's kind of amazing because I literally, y'all, I probably can make at least 10 mistakes a day. Just in my daily life. I mean, I could go down the wrong road. I could think something that wasn't true. I could come to a wrong conclusion at work. I'm wrong. Most people are wrong. Most people are wrong several times in a day. Do you know how many decisions you make in a day? You know how many things you say in a day? You know how many moves you make in one day? And you add up all those thousands of moves. And if you never come up with anything where you say, man, you know what? Even if it's the route you drove to work, dang, I shouldn't have gone down this street. I should have taken that other road. It's too much traffic. It's too much traffic. I guess I should have turned on my GPS and looked at the traffic conditions. Any little thing can make you think how you could have course adjusted. You could have done something different. But for some reason, we get people on this show that do all this filming, all this talking, all this camera time. And then when you get them on Little Black Book and you ask them, hey, do you think you could have done that differently? All of them give the same answer. No, I did it just right. I'm not the problem. You the problem. I don't know. I know we in Texas, and LARON made it a point to tell us he don't live in Fort Worth. He lives in Dallas. I don't know the difference between Fort Worth and Dallas. Maybe Dallas is more bougie. Maybe Dallas, the rent is $3,000 a month. But maybe in Fort Worth, I can get the same apartment, even though it's maybe only 15 minutes away. Maybe I can get the same apartment for 30% less. I don't know, $1,500, $2,000. Maybe that's what he's trying to tell us. But does that $3,000 apartment come with a gym downstairs? That's where you need to go. The gym and a juice bar. Not a lounge with Hennessy and Coke and full-size fried tacos. Go with the street tacos, no cheese. Go with the meat inside of a lettuce, LARON. Don't even get the flour tortilla or the corn tortilla. Just get the meat with some lettuce and make you a little roll. Make you a little roll. They good, LARON. They are really good, and you're going to be well on your way. But I know we in Texas. I know, what's Texas called? Texas is called the Lone Star State, right? We might need to start calling it now, renaming it the state of denial, because everybody so far has been in denial. They're just in denial. Oh, wait a minute. LARON did apologize and admit to something, y'all. Let me give him credit. Let me give credit where it's due. He said he was wrong with the way that he cussed out old girl Koisha. He said, I was wrong. That was wrong. He said, I was wrong for cussing her out like that. When I saw it back, I went in on her real bad. And I really shouldn't have done that. And he said he would never want anybody to talk to his daughter like that if he ever had kids. And he said he was wrong. So let me give some credit that in the filming time of, how long did they film? 2 months? We've been watching the show now for, what's this, episode 4 or something? Let me give him credit that through the whole show, he did come up with something that he was wrong. But his percentage is low. His percentage is low. I still got to put him in the bucket with Patrice, DeMonte, who else? April, and oh, good Lord, Lamar. Got to put him in there. So LARON better get right. He better get tight, because he might be careful. We might have to change his name from LARON to LARON. LARON tells us he comes from Jersey, y'all. He's an East Coast dude. He said he's a straight shooter, straight up. He says sometimes people are rubbed the wrong way because he just speaks what he says. It can be a bit blunt. And, down here in Texas, people are a little bit softer. And so you can't just be as blunt. Well, I don't know if they too soft, LARON, because it looks like you got played by an old Texas girl named Koisha. I don't know where Koisha, girl, Koshia. I don't know where Koshia is from, but she played you. So one of the things I want to say, LARON, is what I have been seeing is that you don't know your audience. You don't know who you dealing with. You may think you know yourself, but what you don't do is you don't give enough attention to who your audience is. And let me tell you, I discovered this a lot about people who sometimes folks drop down in my comments and, we all be talking about, a scene or opinion. And, everybody tell me, some people say, oh yeah, I agree with you. Some people say, no, you dead wrong. Auntie Deborah, you dead wrong. And sometimes they be right. Some people be right about I'm right. Some people be right about I'm wrong. But sometimes the people are wrong when they tell me I'm dead wrong. And I don't ever really always be correcting them. But sometimes they tell me I'm wrong about how a person should feel, right? Like how Koshia should have felt when LARON was cussing her out. I never said that Koshia shouldn't have felt bad. And I see LARON talked about it, apologized for it. But one of the things I said about Koshia is Koshia starts fights. She starts the scenarios. But in the end, it is Koshia who's left crying. I've said it over and over again. And in this interview, it sounds like LARON pretty much told us that he got played by Koshia. Played. And when he finally realized he was being played, he went ham on her. Ham. Full on ham. So that scene we saw of him bursting and cussing out Koshia and really abrasive to Koshia, it came as a result of not only what Koshia did at that party, but what she did off scene, off camera. And, what he didn't want to give up what she did, because I think he mentions it later on in the episode. So he said he don't want to mess up his NDA. But I think he did talk to Kojo for it and told him what happened. And Kojo vouched and said that if that indeed is what happened, it was pretty heavy. It was pretty darn heavy. So that would mean once again that Koshia felt the wrath of her own behavior. Koshia felt the wrath of something that she did, but in the end, the blowback was so heavy, she couldn't take it. So we don't know yet if it's true. We haven't heard from Miss Koshia. I'm sure at some point in time she'll get to come on and tell her story. It may be different. More than likely it will be different because the stories are never exactly the same. But when LARON says, people in Texas are soft, I think he might want to rethink that. I think he might want to rethink it because I don't think LARON is giving other people enough credit. I think LARON is, he's a STEM major. He's a science major. He's logical. Hey, I know that. Like I tell everybody, I'm an engineer. But one of the things that I think I have that's sometimes different from a lot of engineers, or most engineers and STEM people, are males. Okay, there's a lot more female now and a lot more of us. But one of the differences I see in STEM majors who are tech people who are female versus male is that women, we still have a lot of our nurturing, our estrogen, our empathetic and nurturing side as a woman. And we still bring that to the tech field. We're not all black and white. And I think what LARON is missing, he's missing human behavior. He's missing human behavior. LARON is really like predictive. This, and this. 1 + 1 + 1 = 3. I don't know why they didn't say it was 3. Because LARON tells us his story of back when he was younger and his first love. They tried to press him on his first love. He didn't want to talk much about his background state. There must have been some trauma there, and he didn't feel comfortable sharing that with the world on the camera. But more than likely, it's some trauma there that he doesn't want to discuss because he feels it's in his past. He's escaped it. He came from a rough part of town in Jersey. I don't know. Did he say it was from Trenton, Newark? I don't know. I think those are some rough parts of Jersey, but I can't remember if he said he was from Newark. I think he said Newark or Trenton, but he got out of there. He made it out. He's one of the ones that made it out. He didn't die and he didn't go to jail. Oh, at least we don't know he didn't go to jail. He might have spent a day there, but he ain't got no real big record. But anyway, he didn't lie. He didn't go to jail. I mean, he didn't die and he didn't go to jail. He's here. But I think what LARON was back in Trenton, New Jersey, I think LARON was a smart guy, a smart kid in the hood. And I think he had more book sense than he might have had street sense. And I think I think books came to him very easily. And I think street sense is reading human behavior. You see, it's reading human behavior. I think one of the reasons why I have pretty decent street sense is because I grew up in LA, and I grew up in a city where you have to develop street sense. You have to develop a sense of discernment, because there's too many people, too many characters in LA that are there seeking to steal, rob, destroy you. And you've got to learn how to read people, because if you don't learn how to read people, you will get taken advantage of, because people in LA lie. They put on facades. They pretend that they're one thing and they're not one thing. Everyone's not a straight shooter. My circle of friends in LA has been curated since, I want to say 35 years. I don't really get that many new friends. Most of my friends, I've had my friends for 20, 30 years, long periods of time. And I think LARON, even though he grew up in Trenton, New Jersey, I think he was smart. I think that he stood out in his community. And I think he had to develop this tough guy act to survive in Trenton, New Jersey. But I don't think that LARON is all that much of a tough guy. I think he tries to talk tough. He got on here and talk about how he's vengeful, and if you do him wrong, I'm going to get you back. And all this venom was starting to come out. And I think the venom is coming out because he's really hurt to his core. And to be hurt to your core, that would mean that you are a feeler. But he don't want to admit that. He even said he don't really like to date women he likes. You know why? Because he doesn't want to feel it, which means he knows he can go there very easily. If you're a person who's really evil out here in the world, you're not in danger of feeling nothing. You don't got to protect yourself. You don't have to put up no walls. You don't have to keep no stories to yourself, because you're not in any danger of getting taken due to your feelings. But LARON is out here protecting his feelings. He's protecting his feelings. He is out here not telling stories because he don't want people to know. He's out here with this tough guy act, and he ain't really that tough. And the minute he gets up against a woman who is a real manipulator, like I told you Koshia was, he falls victim to her. He falls victim to her. I go back to the story he told when he was in school with the young lady. He said he thought he was in love freshman year in high school, or not high school, college. He and the homegirl are hanging tough. He sleeps over her dorm room. She sleeps over his dorm room. They line up on paper. Remember I told you 1 + 1 + 1 = 3. They line up on paper. They want all the right things. She's saying all the right things. They're agreeing on all the right things. He thinks they're on the road to being married. White picket fence, 2.5 kids. Just like Maya was talking about. We're going to get to that. The Barack Obama. The picture looks good. He's mapped it all out. His equation says 1 + 1 + 1 = 3. That's the outcome he's predicting. That's what he's banking on. It's a math problem to LARON. But where LARON goes wrong is LARON doesn't factor in human behavior. LARON, if you're listening to me, I'm going to talk to you like a tech person. We all know that you can come up with the best plan as an engineer. But once you get human interaction, it can change things, because humans are oftentimes unpredictable. And as a result, you think you can have the best plan, you can implement it, and here comes a human. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. They use your science project, they use your scientific equation, they use whatever you put in, using your computer, whatever, your mind, and all of a sudden you get a different outcome than the one you predicted, the one your little model showed. You know why? Because you failed to plan for certain human behaviors. And that's what LARON does in his relationships. He lines them up on paper. He says this, and that's going to predict this. And he may do it because he says he's a straight shooter. I had to learn that because I'm a straight shooter. Many of y'all know I'm a straight shooter. But what I had to learn was I don't go into situations based on who I am. I go into situations based on who I'm dealing with. Like I said, when I talk to people down in the comments, everybody wants me to deal with people according to who I am. Oh, you are a woman, you are female. You should think more about the female. No, because I'm talking to a man. I'm not going to come in right? With all my femaleness when I'm talking to a man, because he's not going to react necessarily to me and my femaleness. I want to understand him so I also know how to deal with that person, right? If I'm dealing with a crazy person and I'm not crazy, I'm going to deal with him like he's a crazy person. And then what you going to do? Say, oh my goodness, you a lover of crazy people. No, I'm not a lover of crazy people, but I understand that people have human behavior, and I just don't assume that people think like me, act like me, and make decisions like me, because when you think like that, you end up like LARON. You start to miss all your human behavior cues because you're so busy thinking everybody thinks like you, acts like you, believes like you, wants what you want, and you're walking in every situation based on all you, and you're not giving any consideration to your environment. Environment is very, very important. And even, you know what, Coach Joe said something really good to LARON. LARON didn't want to talk about anything in his life. He talked about, I don't like to talk about that stuff. I'm not going to bring it up on the show. And I'm going to give Coach Joe, he had about a 30-second speech. It was brilliant. He said, let me tell you something. When people are trying to get to know you and you don't want to talk anything about your past, they can't get to know you. Because even though you want to say that your past is in your past, it may be in a lot of ways, but it also informs who you are today and who you might be going forward. It's a piece of information. It is a piece of information. And so for LARON to say he didn't want to talk about any of it, Coach Joe basically told him, you a ghost. You are a ghost. And you see, that's what I think LARON does when he comes in, he meets people, because LARON wants to erase his past, right? He doesn't want to bring it into the present and act like it has any bearing on what's going on right now. And because he erases his past, when he meets people, he erases theirs too. Theirs is a mistake. Because he erases it, and then next thing you know, it does come and play a factor. Like I said, human behavior. He even thinks his past is not affecting him today. And it is. I see it. When he's over there talking with his big old chest, talking about I'm vengeful, I get back. That's that Newark, New Jersey side. That's that thing he got to do when he's in the hood. He got to act tough. He got to be tough. Because that's what he's got to do to survive. We ain't in Newark, New Jersey no more. So you can drop the tough guy act. We ain't over here trying to steal and rob from you and take something from you, LARON. So you can drop it. But see, you couldn't drop it. You couldn't drop it, LARON, because it's a part of your past. You see, but if you had told us what your real past was, and that, hey, I had to fight in the streets, I had to do these things, then when I'm talking to you and you start puffing up your chest, I would say, hey, I know that's part of Newark, New Jersey, but you don't have to do that here. You see, I could handle you a little bit differently. But when you don't tell me your past and then I see it here in your present, now I'm like, whoa, what's going on? I'm going to get on the defense. I'm going to start protecting myself because I don't know who the hell you are and I don't know what you're about to do next because I don't know where none of this is coming from. But see, when I saw it with LARON, I knew it was coming from. It was coming from Trenton, New Jersey. Or Newark, New Jersey. See, well, LARON didn't factor in with Koshia, which is why she got him good. Well, she didn't. He thinks everybody is 1 + 1 + 1. No. Koshia is 1 + 1 + 1 = 3. But then later on, 1 + 1 + 1 can equal 2 because Koshia is a manipulator. LARON tells us that he and Koshia were hanging tough, y'all. Hanging tough and tight. Every day, all day. The production studio wouldn't send them out on a date together. So you know what they decided to do? We'll go out on our own dates. They were seeing each other and going out every single night. Every single night. Hanging tough. I even think that they slept together. Let me put it out there and be real. I think they slept together. And I think that's why LARON was so much in his feelings. I think he said Koshia was playing him. Going back to that story I was telling you about the high school or the college sweetheart, she played him. Come to find out, she had a whole nother man, probably back in Newark, New Jersey. He said they were both from New Jersey, but they were down in North Carolina for school and probably sounded like she was double timing him. There's a lot of people who did that in college. There are a lot of people who went away from college and had a boyfriend or girlfriend back in their home state. A lot of people did that. And maybe that's what happened with him. Maybe he was hanging tough. Maybe LARON was her school boyfriend And then she had another neighborhood boyfriend back home in Newark, New Jersey from her neighborhood. Maybe she got up out of the neighborhood, was able to go away to college, but the guy she went out in high school, her high school sweetheart, she was still fooling around with him back home. And maybe in the end, that's why LARON ended up being the side boy. Not a side chick, but a side boy. And it come to find out when he's telling the story about Koshia. I'm going to mess it up. I'm going to mess it up about 10 times. So just bear with me, people. Bear with me. When he started messing around with Koshia, I think he got played by her. That's why in that scene, he's saying, no, I'm hot in that scene, but I'm not just hot because Koshia is running around or talking to different people. I'm hot because of what has happened off scene, off camera, in all these other days. He already told us she ghosted him because I think he also found out or came to find out later on. I don't know, but it's a lot. But like I said, LARON is borderline LARON, so we definitely going to have to hear what Koshia said. But I know it's not a completely fabricated story. There may be some twist to it, and we know we're going to have to hold our judgment, final decision, till we hear from Koshia. But I believe that Koshia manipulated him because I saw it on the first day, the very first day. See, LARON, he didn't figure out that Koshia was manipulating him until, how many weeks were they into this thing? 3 weeks, 2 weeks? I don't know how long. I saw it on episode 1 at the mansion that she was manipulating him. Because you know why? I look at human behavior. I don't look at just what people say. I look at human behavior. And I saw the behavior of Koshia, and I knew right away she was a manipulator. I knew it. I would have been on guard with her from the very minute. The minute she leaned to me and told me, come over here. The reason why I want you close to me is because I want to make you vulnerable to me. Oh, girl. Absolutely not. But see, LARON didn't know that. You know what LARON said? Oh, because you want to kiss me? See there? You see what LARON does when he interacts with people? He interacts with people based on what he wants, what he thinks. He said, Koshia said, come to me because you want to kiss me, because that's who LARON is. LARON really is a lover, y'all. He's a lover, not a fighter. He's a lover, he likes to be around people. That's why he goes out. He says, what do you want me to do? Be a hermit every day? I'll work from home. You don't want me to go out? He likes to be around people. He's an extrovert. He's an extrovert, and he likes to be around people. He wants company. Remember it was LARON who moved to Texas during COVID. Remember, I said it from the very beginning that one of the reasons that brought LARON to Texas because Texas didn't follow the COVID restrictions and lock everything down. LARON was living in a whole nother state that was on lockdown. He might have been in California. I don't know where he was. He was probably in some state where they want complete lockdown. Maybe he was in New Jersey. I don't know. They want complete and LARON said, I can't be on complete lockdown. I need to be around people. I need human touch. I need to be interacting with people. I can't be here all by myself in an apartment like a hermit. I'm going to go crazy. A lot of people did. A lot of people, especially single people, right? It was a tough time. So what LARON did was, I'm not going to stay here and be locked in and shut in. I'm going to move all the way to Texas where I can go out to the bars and be free and be with people. LARON wants to act like he's tough and he don't need nobody and all this other kind of stuff. It's actually quite the opposite. He does need people. He does want a woman. He does want a wife. He does want to be in a relationship. But one of the things that's getting him in the problem is he's evaluating relationships based on himself. He's not looking at who the person is. And as a result, he's getting bamboozled out here in these streets. And every time he gets bamboozled, he's going to put up another wall. It's going to be another story he doesn't want to talk about. It's going to be another moment where he wants to get back at a woman. He better be careful. He better be careful that he doesn't become some old, bitter man. But the only reason he's becoming bitter is because he keeps putting himself in situations he shouldn't. See, when you grow up in the hood and you got street sense, you learn a couple of things. You learn not only how to handle yourself when you're in a sticky situation, you learn how to avoid sticky situations. You learn what streets not to go down. You learn what neighborhoods not to go to. You learn what places not to attend, because you are aware that those environments, that those places, danger can exist there. That's when you have a healthy respect for your environment. You know what I'm saying? That's when you have a healthy respect for your environment. You say, you know what? If I ever got in that situation, I know how to handle myself, but that doesn't mean I always want to go there. It means that I'm going to look at my environment. I'm going to say, do I want to go there? But what LARON doesn't do is he doesn't look at the people he's dealing with. He looks at it on paper. He wants to tell Koshia she's a boss chick. Koshia got her own house. That's what I want to aspire to do. Koshia got her stuff together, right? But he's also not looking at Koshia, and Koshia's got 2 kids. And from what we heard, they're 2 kids from 2 different men. Koshia was married to a man and then tried to say that that man tricked her and that that man didn't tell her that he had 4 kids and she was the victim. She wasn't the victim. I've been telling you guys that from episode 1. What Koshia was trying to do with that man she married with 4 kids is Koshia was trying to get over on that man. It's the same story. Koshia tries to get over on you and then she gets got. She gets got. She tried to get with this man for whatever reason. More than likely he had money. More than likely that's what drew her to him. And more than likely it was because he was the one that proposed. I don't know if Koshia did get a lot of proposals. I could be wrong. Did she get proposals from each of those baby daddies? I don't know. I could be wrong. But one thing I've seen enough of Koshia is I know that Koshia bites off more than she can chew. She goes in very confident. She goes in thinking she's going to get you. She's going to extract from you what she wants. And in the end, she gets got. And then after she gets got, she either goes in denial or she starts to cry. And that's what happened with LARON. But LARON should have seen this. If he's up here spending all this time with her like he says every single day, and I think they were intimate, he should have seen it coming. But you know what? He didn't see it coming. He washed it away. He washed away the past. He probably didn't want to judge her for her past because you know what? He's got a past and he don't want to be judged for his either. I think that's what it is. You know, sometimes when you have a past and you've done things wrong, one of the things you really are doing, you're saying, hey, I don't want to judge anybody else for their past because I don't want to be judged for mine. Well, I understand it, but you got to be very careful with that because when you're doing that, you're also discounting your discernment because what you're assuming is everyone does have a past. But what you're assuming is that person who has that past is now at the same place you are in your present. Everybody don't heal at the same rate. People can be just like your bad past, but also they cannot be where you are presently, which means you can't treat them like you are in your present because maybe you've done a lot more healing and growth. Maybe they haven't. Does it mean you give up on them? No, but you better have some discernment. You better not just give them free passes. And what he did was he gave Koshia a free pass and then he got bit by that dog. He got bit by that dog. And you know what else I know? Reason why I know he looks at on paper because he did it with Maya. He sat on here and talked about the date with Maya was fire. Oh, it was fire. Didn't you see the way I was making her smile? First of all, I pointed out from the very beginning that Maya knows how to smile. She got good customer service. LARON, do you think that every woman who smiles at you really likes you? When you go to Chick-fil-A, just because the person is smiling at the drive-thru window, do you think that means she wants to go out with you? When your waitress at the lounge is serving you your Henny and Coke and your catfish or your neck bones, do you think because she smiles at you and says something nice and pleasant to you, that means she wants to go out with you? No, she's being pleasant. Maya knows how to be pleasant. She's doing it with William. Doesn't mean she wants to go out with them. She don't want to be with you, LARON. But LARON says, oh, yes, she does. Because one, she smiled at me. All of our things we said we wanted lined up. Well, didn't the things line up with your freshman, your college freshman girlfriend? Didn't that line up too? It didn't work out, right? Because human behavior. Look at the behavior of Maya. She doesn't even look at you when she talks to you. She doesn't really want to hug you. She gives you the shoulder. No eye contact. No leaning into you. None of it. He's not looking at human behavior. All he's looking at is what she says. But everybody doesn't say what they really believe. Everybody doesn't say that, LARON, because you're not looking at human behavior. You need to bring in all aspects to evaluate a person, LARON. And you're only going off of a couple of things. You're only going off what you think, what you see, and who you are. You're judging everybody by who you are because you're a straight shooter. You're a straight shooter, so you expect everybody else to be a straight shooter. No, they're not. No, they're not. You need to learn how to read between the lines. You need to learn how to read the room. Get out this science mind of yours. Keep your science, keep your logic, but bring in some information about human behavior because you're missing it. Take off them sunglasses you had during the whole interview because them sunglasses is blinding you to human behavior and you getting got out here in these streets by these women. Maya don't want you, just like she don't want William. Neither one of you. She's trying to stay on this show. She's trying to advertise her waist trainer. That's what she's trying to do. She's trying to get some followers. Does she want a Barack Obama? Yes, she does. But she saw that he wasn't here. So she's moving on her way. I don't know if he's not here, because I still don't know why Maya ain't gone out with Dominique yet. So I believe that maybe, I don't know, Dominique could line up with her too. Like I said, Dominique could line up with her. I thought Justin could, but maybe the whole PE thing is giving a problem. I don't know. But I don't know why we're not seeing Maya with other men. I want to see Maya with some other men. I really, really do, before I count her all the way out. But I know enough that she wasn't interested in LARON. I know that. So for him to think that a date was fire, good Lord, really, this is what a fire date looks like? He definitely ain't reading no room. If he's going out on dates with women and he coming home at night talking about this is a fire date, that even his mama told him was a fire date, his auntie told him it was a fire date, they must not have seen no other scenes. Because if that was a fire date, LARON, then Maya got fire dates with a lot of people, because she had a fire date with William too. William came away saying the same thing. Ooh, I can't wait to see Maya again. We got so much in common. People want to know why people like Maya and even Alexis, why they know how to attract men, because they know how to be agreeable in the moment. They know how to get along with men in the moment. And what that does is it gives them choices. Now, what you do with those choices, what those women do with those choices afterwards, that will need to be discussed. But the one thing that Maya and Alexis know how to do is they know how to be agreeable enough and give good customer service, so at least the men want to put in an offer. I often talk to women about this. I often say, hey, you want people to put in offers. You may not accept their offers from the men, but you don't want to do things to run them away. You want them to put in the offer, and then you want to have the ability to say no or yes. What Maya and Alexis are doing right on this show so far is the complete opposite of what April did. April didn't get no offers, because what April says is, I'm not going to do nothing to get no offers because I don't want to have, she just discards them. She's too busy talking about herself. What Maya and Alexis do is they say, hey, bring all your offers. I'm selling this big, beautiful home here, this mansion of mine. Bring all your offers to the table. Tell me what you like about me. I'm going to smile, be agreeable, hear your offer. And in the end, I will decide if I want to accept it. I will decide. Some women don't know how to accept offers afterward. They don't know how to vet the candidates. I don't know. That might be the thing with Alexis. Alexis may have a bad picker. Maya may have a bad picker. But I do know they know how to attract. Some women don't even know how to attract. They know how to attract, but they may not know how to pick amongst their candidates. That's probably where their biggest problem is. We can see a little bit of that with Alexis choosing Will. But I digress. I don't want to keep talking about this because we over here talking about this LARON interview. But LARON, yeah, he need to think about more human behavior. LARON is like, boys in the hood. He think he doughboy, but he ain't doughboy. He's Trey. He Cuba good, and he is Trey. LARON, you are not doughboy. You're Trey. But it sounds like Kashia got him good. Kashia got him good. They were saying all the right things to each other day and night, every day. LARON locked in real fast on her because, like I said, he's a person with a heart. He's trying to pretend like he isn't, but he is. He's a softie. He calling people in Dallas softies. Boy, you soft too. And I ain't saying nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying know who you are. That's why I said when people are in denial, when you are in denial of who you really are, you're going to make a lot of mistakes out here because you think you're showing up in an environment one way and you're not. Kashia knew who LARON was. I told you Kashia picked him out from the very beginning to manipulate him because she knew she could manipulate him. She knew she could manipulate him. Kashia is the real shark. He doesn't understand that he was a mark. He was a mark from the very beginning with Kashia. But what Kashia didn't count on, that was when LARON found out, LARON went ham on her. LARON went full on in on her. Like I told you, Kashia is a Pomeranian in a lot of ways because she bites off more than what she can chew. She starts off like she's a shark and she gonna get you just like she did with Alexis. But the minute a person comes back with any firing power, Kashia can't stand up to it. She can't stand up. She can't withstand it. Alexis took her down. And now you saw what happened with LARON. That was why Chaz had to step in and try to save Kashia because he saw that she was getting pummeled by LARON. LARON has a lot of admiration for Chaz, his daddy Chaz. his Uncle Chaz. That's what we need to call him, which is good because Chaz has lived a lot longer. He's 15 years older, 16 years older than LARON. He should be giving him some uncle advice. That's old enough to be an uncle. That's enough years to be somebody's uncle. And it's good that LARON says, I aspire to be a Chaz. Have what Chaz has. Be the man that Chaz has. Like I said, once again, not looking at the total overall package, LARON. Don't aspire to be Chaz because Chaz is the same place you are and he's 15 years older. He's married with no kids. So why you want to aspire to be Chaz? Qualify that. Say you may want to be like Chaz because Chaz has his own house. You may want to be like Chaz for other reasons, but you don't want to completely emulate Chaz because Chaz is exactly where you are looking for love at his age because he has never opened up his heart in 47 years. 47 years. Okay? So here he is, 47, never married a woman, never proposed to a woman, never opened up his heart enough to even do that. I understand he had trauma. He lost a child. I understand that might have got him stuck for plenty of years, but that ain't the only factor. So once again, here's LARON looking at somebody on paper. 1 + 1 + 1 = 3. I want to be like him. No, you don't. Bring in the human factor. Bring in the human behavior. Bring it in. Bring in that human understanding of who Chaz is, and then you probably find out Chaz has made some mistakes along the way that I don't want to do. I don't want to repeat. But I tell you, he don't bring it all in. LARON does not bring in human behavior, human factors. Things are like math equations to him. That's why he sat on here and tried to tell us we were foolish for what we were saying. Oh, y'all are being tricked by production. Can't you see in this picture I'm sitting over here? Can't you see this over here? All these facts. I get it. Facts are important. Like I said, I'm an engineer. We need numbers. We need facts. But we also need to put in our equations and our factoring in human behavior. I don't care where you was standing. When you were talking to Koshia, I don't need to know your exact spot. He pulling out pictures. See how they edit this? I was standing over here. I wasn't looking at Koshia. I don't care if you was looking at Koshia. I know you was thinking it. I don't need to know it for a fact. This ain't no OJ trial. OJ was guilty. I know some of y'all want to be mad. He was guilty. I don't care if the glove don't fit, you must acquit. That's fine. That's right. If the glove don't fit, you must acquit, but I still know you did it. I don't need all the facts. I don't need all the evidence to know what I know. And LARON was mad and jealous of Koshia because whatever the reason, he was sleeping with her. He got wrapped up with her. He got played by her. And he looked like an angry woman who got played. When you flip this around, LARON didn't look no different for what we see with women when they confront men for cheating on them. It's the same way. That's what it looked like. So I don't care where you were standing in that picture, LARON. I don't care what type of editing they did. I know what I know. You was jealous. You was mad. You was heartbroken. You was ready to get revenge. All that. You was played by the softy from Texas. He said Koshia told him he needed to make $150,000 because she's trying to get a big house. Here we go talking about money again. Did y'all see my video on Will and Patrice talking about money, talking about these salaries people asking for or whatever else the case may be? LARON said that's fine because I'm close to making $150. This Koshia coming over here talking about $150 with 2 kids. Telling LARON he needs to make the same as her. But you got 2 kids. Oh, net versus gross. That's all I'm going to say. Go watch the video if y'all confused with what I'm talking about. He said they had a pact. I believe it. He said they had a pact that said, hey, if one of us goes home, the next one of us will go home. He was already locked in with Koshia. Koshia had him good, y'all. I told you Koshia was trying to be Jessica from last year, and she wanted LARON to be Marie from last year, but they 2 different people. They are 2 different people. They couldn't pull it off. I still think Koshia's going home. I know we're sitting up here wondering who's going to go home next week. Some people think it's Mika. Some people think it's Koshia. I think it's Koshia because I think who's going to save Mika this week and not have her go home is going to be Justin. Remember, Justin voted for Mika to stay. And I think even Dominique would not put Mika on because even though Dominique wants the 2 to 10 kids, and Mika don't want it. I think Dominique might want to roll around in the sheets a little bit with Mika. I think he might want to keep her a little bit longer. So I think he voted for Kashia too. I think Kashia is going to go home. And now that her partner in crime, LARON, is feeling salty about her, he may not fight for her that hard. He may not fight for her hard enough that he would need to fight for her to keep her on the show. I think she might go home. I think it may be good for TV to keep her on. Production, yeah, I can see that. I would love to see her stay because I want to find out what she did to make LARON get so mad and jealous and vengeful. But I still could see her going home too. But LARON was ready to self-eliminate. He was ready to fall on his sword for the woman that he was caring for. He said he wasn't in love yet, but he was ready to exit stage left. That's a man with a heart. A dude without a heart would not exit for you. He'd be like, nah, I'm going to stay here and see it to the end. He would not exit for you. He wouldn't do it. You know, he may be from Trenton, New Jersey or Newark, New Jersey, but he got the heart of somebody from the suburbs. His body might have been in Newark, but he from the suburbs. That's why he's over there now in Dallas. He said he's in a part of town that's the white part of town. Exactly, because that's where you feel most comfortable. You don't feel comfortable over in Fort Worth. Maybe it's Fort Worth the hood, y'all, because he made a point to say I ain't in Fort Worth. Exactly. You don't feel comfortable over there. You feel comfortable over in the part of town that's not the real hood. And ain't nothing wrong with it. That's the point I'm trying to make. Ain't nothing wrong with it, but just admit it to yourself. Admit it to yourself. You was a fish out of water in Trenton and Newark, New Jersey. I don't know which one. I keep messing it up. You was a fish out of water. So you got out of that water and you jumped over into new waters. Then don't come around here and start talking about, I'm going to get back. I'm vengeful. I'm this. I'm tough. No, you're not. No, you're not. And truth be told, if Kashia hadn't played him, Maya would have played him. Because he over here falling for this act from Maya too. Poor LARON. Poor LARON. LARON, you need to go back and recalibrate. Recalibrate your whole game plan, your whole strategy. Because you are missing very, very important parts of navigating these streets and navigating relationships, and that is human behavior. You're missing it. You're missing it. You're too much into who you are, how you think, what you think, and you're not enough into human behavior, how other people react given certain conditions, conditional behavior. You need to give more thought to that. He's a smart guy. I could tell he's a smart guy. He says he's a critical thinker. He says he's a critical thinker. He likes to problem solve. He likes to find solutions. I heard all that, LARON. Then you need to solve your problem. Concentrate on solving your problem, because right now some of your calculations is wrong. Go back, check your math. Go back and check your math, because your math ain't mathing, LARON. It ain't mathing. Anyway, that's it. Talk to y'all later. Bye.